All right, everybody. Sorry about the technical issue. Welcome to the video here on July 9th, 2020, 10:26 a.m. I'm about ready to go through a whole bunch of stuff with the market. Before I get into any of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, manage your own risk, your own research. I'm just giving my opinion on the market. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at, first we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, then we're going to kind of dive into a lot of the alts. Boiling Crypto, hey, how you doing? The question was asked in Discord, and I've been thinking it for a while here, is the altcoin run over? We had a good run over the last couple days, and a couple things that I was looking at, and I want to try and just kind of fold all this into one big ball of goodness. But before I get into it, of course, I do want to take a look at Bitcoin, because that's what is going to really be controlling the market. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. All right, so let me just drill in here. We don't need to see the lower time frame, so let's just focus on what we're currently projecting here. So I actually think that very likely this move is complete. Very likely this is the top. If we do violate 9,500 at this point, I would say that that something else is going on here. But I believe at this point what we have just completed is a 1-2. 1-2. Okay, and I outlined this. I want to say I outlined this yesterday. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. Basically, a series of corrections. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete a 1, A, B, C to complete the 2, and then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete a nested 1, and then an A, B, C to complete a 2. And inside of this A, B, C here, we've got good subdivision. All right, so let's just take a look at the subdivision, because it actually looks pretty good. So we've got A, B, and then A, B, C into the A. We've got a nice A, B, and then C into the B, and this looks very interesting as well. Almost looks like a WXY into the B, and then A, B, C into the B, and then we've got a nice A, B, C. And so you can see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then A, B, C, 1, 2, and then it kind of gets a little messy up here, but I believe we've got a 3, 4, 5 up here. If not, it's still possible that we make a run for 95, but I don't want to see a 2 or a 3 hour candle close above 95 at this point, because this is a good corrective target. We hit 120, almost 123.6%, the length of the A projected from the bottom of the B. So we're measuring from down here, starting the A wave. We pull it back to the bottom of the B, and then we go up here and we expect this 9,500. All right, so from here, we really need to see some accelerated selling. We need to see some accelerated selling to the downside. If we're really in a nested 1-2, 1-2, it's extremely bearish if that is the case. I'm not saying that is what's happening. What I'm really pointing out. Let me just remove this guy just to clean the chart up a little bit. We've got support down here, which we haven't broken on an hourly. Like we've touched it, we've penetrated it, but we haven't actually broken it. Okay, so this still remains support. This still remains resistance. I am going to I'm going to go ahead and just go out on a limb and say that we are creating some new resistance up here. So let's just go ahead and put this up there. That's at about 94.90, and let's go ahead and just outline this just to get this in here. This is going to be resistance. We're going to make, of course, this red because it is overhead resistance. So we'll just throw that on there. I say that's probably going to be our new resistance at this point. All right, so you see we've got all these other resistances. There is the discussion, and while I'm in here, this is going to be the last thing that I talk about. There is some discussion that we are creating a breakout. I'm going to have to fix that. Let's put this up here. I like to get it as close as possible. It's just how I like to roll. Then we'll take a look at this, and the question is, are we doing a bullish retest here? Okay, so let's just pull this out. All right, what we have here, we have all of our resistance points. Okay, so they're all touching, right? So we've got a touch here, we've got a touch here, we've got a touch here. We had a touch here, and then we broke out. So if we come down and we don't see this accelerated selling, which we need to see, right? We need to see some accelerated selling for this entire model to be correct. We have to see some accelerated selling to the downside. We have to say that this was a trap Okay, so is this a trap? I mean, I'd like to think that it is. Okay, this right here, possible trap. Um, but if we don't get back underneath this trend line, then this is a little bit of a bullish breakout. I do have to admit that. So now let's talk about alts. Okay, so we talked about this. We need to see some accelerated selling to the downside. Now, also the flip side for the bullish view, this could be seen as a bullish breakout. So it's really hard to, really get a sense for what's happening. Is this a trap? Is this an actual bullish breakout? It's about 50-50 at this point. So, we've got these resistance levels, which have been overhead resistance for, gosh, since the beginning of June, right? So for over a month, these have been overhead resistance. Tentatively, I say we're creating some new overhead resistance here, continuing to make lower highs. But with this breakout, if we retest this and we don't break down below it, well, that's a sign that we've got some bullish strength here as well, and something else is likely going on. All right, but anyway, let's take a look at dominance. We're going to take a look at dominance on a daily time frame. I've been taking a look at this for quite some time. I believe I outlined this, just a couple days ago. Taking a look at this, saying that possibly we're going to be going down to 60. Okay, so if we're going down to 60, then we still have a lot more room to run, but it looks like we're getting a little bit of of resistance, right, or rather support on the Bitcoin side, resistance on the altcoin side. We're going to take a look at some alts here as well, of course. But nonetheless, what I can see here is that we're stalling out just a little bit, and that's okay, right? People taking profit, Bitcoin dropping a little bit. You're gonna see a little bit of inconsistency. We didn't go from 73 down to 62 over the course of an hour, right? So we hit our top up here on September 5th, and it wasn't until February, right? So we're talking months. It took us to have this a little bit of a rise on alts, but what we're seeing right now is really nothing, right, guys? This is nothing in comparison to what altcoin season is supposed to look like. Again, I outlined this the other day as well. I know I did. This guy right here, this is alt season, right? What everybody is hooting and hollering about is this, right? That's nothing, right? We haven't seen anything yet. And, I have to take a look at our support levels. I have to take a look at our support levels. I have them outlined right here. Again, we're looking at the daily, so let's just go ahead and flip over to the weekly because, it's just noise. It's just noise. I'm on the log scale here. And let's just take a look at this. Let me zoom out. Okay, so what I see is I see a nice 1, 2, and then maybe this is a 3, 4, 5, but I tend to think this is a 1, 2, 3. Oh, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, and then we're working on a correction. Possible this thing comes back down to 57 over time. Over time, I think that this is going to take some time. We're going to have a little bit of some chop here. We're going to have some chop. Very possible this thing does spike up. Very possible that alts are going to start bleeding a little bit. Shake people out of positions. There's a lot of people taking profit. Bitcoin's moving. But, I'm taking a look at this and I'm thinking, is from a corrective standpoint, if we're still correcting this, we've got a nice A going up for the B, and then right down between the 100 and the 123.6 sits the 382. So, I was saying that we're going to go to 60, right? As far as the dominance goes, Bitcoin dominance down to 60%. This would give other alts that haven't pumped room to run. So very possible that we do see that. But again, I think this is probably going to take, gosh, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 weeks for this to happen. And very likely this thing will start bouncing a little bit. Upside target here, we're looking at Bitcoin dominance at 84%. This is several weeks away, okay? So if we're looking at this from an Elliott wave perspective, and I've never really given a whole lot of weight on this, but if this is a 1, this is a 2, we completed the 3, We have this alt season, this final alt season right here. I say final alt season. Then we have this coming all the way up to about 85, 84, 85%. That's our target, right? That's our target. So what's potentially going to be happening here, we're going to have a little bit of a bounce, and then eventually this is probably going to make its way down to 60, maybe a little bit lower. 57 is really the target, but I'll go for 60. And then we're going to see this nice move to the upside. This I do expect to happen. If not this year, early next year. And what this means is this is going to be where you want to be sitting in Bitcoin. You want to be in Bitcoin on that last run up. If you missed everything that happened throughout here, and this was basically in early 2019, if you missed all of that, you want to be in this, because this is going to be where Bitcoin shines. Okay, alts, and I have a long video on alts. If you want to see that, it's on the YouTube channel. It talks about the altcoin scam. You type in BitDoctor altcoin scam, you're going to see the video that I posted, and this has been weeks, months, maybe even a year ago. Just talking about how alts are nothing more than just another transfer of wealth mechanism for the people to accumulate more Bitcoin. So if you're sitting in an altcoin on this last run, you are going to be gaining USD. There's no doubt about that. But you're not going to be gaining as much as if you're sitting in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is still the king right now. Bitcoin is still the king. And when this thing pops up to 84, 85, I'm going to be taking a look seriously at some altcoins, because when we get up here, I believe this is when we start that major move down. How far we go is still up in the air. But that's going to be when we're going to see the next big alt run. That's where we're going to see huge exponential gains that we saw in 2017. For right now, I say we are still correcting. I believe we're still correcting this move, and I guess I'll be wrong if we come down below 57 and we continue moving. Maybe Bitcoin is going to be dethroned and there's going to be some other things that take its place. Who knows, right? Who knows? I'll continue trading this. We've been trading some alts. We've been using our waves indicator that you see down here below. It doesn't look good on a weekly time frame. It works mostly well on an hourly time frame. But we've been keeping an eye on all of these things. We've been, taking little trades here and there. Just don't get caught up trying to get the moonshot, right? Don't go out on Facebook and say, hey guys, Ripple's going to $500. Like that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, right? And so don't get caught up in that. All right, so now let's take a look at some alts, see what they look like, because what I saw is some very interesting things here on the lower time frames. And actually, here taking a look at the waves indicator on dominance, this is showing that we are way oversold on dominance, which means altcoins are way overbought, right? So we would expect there to be a bounce here in this area, move ourselves up a little bit. We have to correct this move. So let's just take a look and see if things are supportive of that. As far as Bitcoin goes, I already saw some bearish divergence here. So we did create a little bit of a new high, a higher high, but we're creating a lower high on our indicators. Even the RSI, it looks created a little bit of a lower high. So we do have some bearish divergence on here. We do have some absorption at this level at 93.50. I would say that's going to be the support that we need to break. Right, this level right here, this is going to be the support that needs to break if we're going to see lower prices. After we break down below that, the next level that we can see right here, and I can extend this left as well. If you see this, we can definitely extend this left, and this continues to drive all the way over. That we'll call it 9200. I have it drawn at 9186. 9200 is that level. And yeah, I mean, we could even pull this back a little bit further if we wanted to. This is pretty important, this level here. So as you can see, this has been, kind of an equilibrium of sorts, but definitely this is going to be the next level of support that we need to break. What I can say is the 12-hour has crossed. The 12-hour has crossed, which means we need to keep a little bit of a bearish bias, but it's still it's still kind of unconfirmed, right? Because this 12-hour candle just started a couple hours ago, and we're just now seeing a cross. I need to see, a continued closure below 94.50 on this 12-hour candle. So let's just go ahead and take a look at some alts. Let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash. What are we looking at on Bitcoin Cash? Let me zoom out a little bit so we can see this, a little more clarity. I can see we were overbought here. We're seeing a cross on this as well. It looks like it wants to move down. On Ethereum, Ethereum, of course, big move up. We have some high here, a bearish cross on the 12-hour. It looks like it wants to move down. Let's see here, Dash. Dash, again, like all alts, what we're going to see is a lot of these alts are going to look very, very similar. 12-hour, way overbought. We had a nice cross on there. We had a good sell signal there at the top of that 73, 73.67, 73.88. 73.88 was the high, but basically we had the sell signal there at the closure, which was 72.48. Nope, that's not right. Not 72.48. 73.70. 73.70 was where that sell kicked in. So yeah, so that one also looks like it wants to move down. So a lot of these alts are going to look very, very similar. Even Monero had a nice move to the upside. This one may still have a little bit more room to go. I'm looking at the 12-hour. It looks like it still has a little bit room to go. Not good for an entry. Litecoin looks overbought, and it looks like we're creating another top here. We actually created a new higher high here while creating a lower high on the indicator. I would say this is also a good signal to sell. Zcash. Let's take a look at Zcash. This one, big move to the upside. We did create a tiny bit of a higher high, and the indicator's still loading here. And if it doesn't come up in a minute, I'm going to move on to the next one. All right, let's keep on moving. Yeah, these are all looking exactly the same. Big run up, some consolidation, some stalling up here at the top. I'm not sure why their TradingView is finally starting to load here. Neo, a big run up. It must be my internet connection or something. This is just taking forever to load. There's the Bollinger Bands. Yeah, but at any rate, these are all looking severely overbought. Ethereum Classic, this is hitting up against it looks like a channel that I had from a long time ago. I had this channel outlined back in June, it looks like, and we're hitting the lower of that, and we're seeing that as resistance. So you could call this a bearish throwback at that point. Chainlink has just been extremely strong. All right, let's talk about Chainlink here for just a moment. So I outlined a few alts on here. Chainlink was one of them, at least in my video title. I was outlining Chainlink. I want to talk about this. For a moment. I'm going to go to a daily time frame, and I'm going to get rid of my indicator. So for this guy, man. It's just been crazy. It's completely just obliterated all of the targets that I had. Back a long time ago, I believe it was right around here, September, October 2019, I said, if we break $2, this thing is going to fly in. I mean, and it did, right? It did. And then also back here, we came down. It seems like anytime we broke down below $2 or even, $1.60, $1.60 seems to be like the important resistance. This wave 3 right here, this was pretty important for Chainlink, and I think it's going to continue to be important for Chainlink. I don't think that we're going to see prices down here, anytime soon. That's going to be at about $1.50. Okay, so we've got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1, A, B, C into the 2. We've got the 3, we've got the 4, and then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and extended fifth. Now, I believe this is a wave 1. A, B, an expanded flat. C, down here into the 2, okay, and then I say we're having a 1, 2, this looks weird, but I think the 3 is up here. Go down for the 4, and then we've got the 5. Okay, so I'm looking at this from here as a 1, 2. I believe this is the 3, this is the 4, and then we have the 5, and I think this could be the finish of this particular move. Okay, so we're talking about waves. We were looking at Bitcoin just a little bit ago. We were taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance and saying how we're having some profit taking, whatever it may be. If this was a big wave one, this is a big wave two, right? We're working on wave one of wave three. This is not wave three, right? It's way too short to be a wave three. The upside target for this is going to be, um, yeah, I don't think it's going to go to $85. I mean, I've been wrong before, but technically speaking, that would be the upside target for this. Don't buy Chainlink here and hold it for 10 years thinking it's going to go to $85. I'm a trader. I'm not an investor. If you want to invest in a paper, not a paper, just a some virtual speculative asset, that's your call. But what I say here is this is probably wave one, and we're going to go down for wave two, which is probably going to come down to 50 to 61.8%. So if we go from the bottom down here and we go up here to the top, this is probably going to come to $3.58 or $3. Sorry, not 3.58. It's probably going to come to $3 or $2.50. I don't think it's going to come anywhere near $1.50. I think what we're probably going to end up seeing on Chainlink is from up here, we're going to see a nice jaggedy move down. It's going to be a nice A, a B, and then I say we're going to probably get the C. Okay, this is probably going to come a little bit lower, probably going to come back down here. I think this would make sense as relative to this low over here. Probably going to bounce up a little bit. People are going to get anxious that we're up for the next moonshot, and then we're going to come down. We're going to come down. Maybe it's going to come to $3. Maybe it does come all the way down here to $2.50. $2.50 would make sense because looking at this guy over here, let's just pull him over. It's not a coincidence that falls right in line with a 618. Okay, so we've got that. If that happens, then we'll kind of project where that's probably going to head next. Probably going to head to 850, maybe 950. We'll see. We'll see. This is going to take some time. This is going to take time. So if you bought in back at $2, I would. I honestly, I would probably take profit up here, and I'd be looking to rebuy. And somebody on the Discord asked the question, "What's your rebuy level for Link?" Okay. For Chainlink, my rebuy targets would be, and again, I just mentioned it, $3 or $2.50. If you want to buy a little bit at 358, that's your call, right? Buy a little at 358, and if it bounces and it starts to fail, then you can sell. You made a little bit of profit. But I think $3 to $2.50 likely where this thing is going to go. All right, let's take a look at XTZ because that's another one that I outlined inside of my video title. XTZ had a really good move. Had a really good move. All right, so let's just go ahead and clear this off. All right, so from this, let me just pull this out here. If this was that move there, and let's see where we came down to. The 786 went past. Yeah, I would say the 786 was the support there. I would say an upside target for XTZ is probably going to be about $5.86 based on this, the negative 236 extension. Based on the fact that we pulled back to the 786, if I pull out my trend-based fib extension tool, let's pull this out, go up here to the top, and pull ourselves down. 100% of quality is going to be at $5. So we're at $2.56 right now. I'd say that it probably is going to pull down a little bit, especially if it hits this again, right? If it comes back down here to $2.20, it's probably going to make its way down here to about $1.80. So this level right here is what I would be most interested in. And we're looking at a daily time frame, so this is going to take a while. So looking something like this to come down here. Then you see that move here to the upside, and what that's really going to be giving you is if we do make it all the way down here to about $1.83, you probably want to do a stop loss on the other side of the 50, which is going to be at about $1.70 for a 7.83% loss if that happens. But the upside target you're looking at 175%, so that's a 22-to-1 ratio, which is it's really pretty good. Really is pretty good. Keep an eye on the indicators. We had a little bit of a buy a few days ago. I do think that run is more than likely over, and I do think we're probably going to make our way back down here. I would say this is invalidated if we break above this level right there. So right now we're looking at resistance here at about 285. If we break up above that, then I'll reevaluate. But for right now, I do think we're probably going to come back down a little bit. All in all, All in all, I think that the altcoin run is virtually over. We have had a really great run. Okay, we've had a really great run, and so I mean, there's no harm in taking profit here, you guys, especially when Bitcoin looks like it wants to move. Um, don't underestimate. Um, the indicators. And the indicators are telling us that this is pretty close to being done, if not already done. I mean, you can take a look at this guy. This is rolling. This is rolling down. All right, we're rolling downhill just a little bit. The 3 hour is still moving. Man, that 12 hour, it's got a long way to go. Long way to go. I mean, take a look at this. The 12 hour called the sell on Cardano all the way up here, and even if you sold and you're buying back now, you're accumulating Cardano. I personally would wait. I would wait for this to come down. Maybe it comes down here to this level at about 10 cents, right? That would be ideal if it came back and retested 10 cents. I know we did a little bit of a retest there, but I think that there's probably going to be gravity that's going to be pulling us back here, especially from a moving average standpoint. Taking a look at some moving averages, we'll pull that in here. On the hourly, we can see that we've got support here at the 200, and then this guy right here, I believe I have him set up as the 300. Yes, I've got this as the 300 on the hourly, and that's creeping up. So this is probably going to hit right around 10 cents by the time it finally does get there, if it gets there, and I think it will. I guess point of the whole video today is don't get caught up in a bullish bias 100% of the time. Don't buy into something thinking that you're going to get the moonshot, because things are happening in waves, and we've got dumped on too many times over the last 2 years, 2.5 years, to get caught up in a bias that we're just going to continue moving. So last question that we have, do I see a retrace of 5,700 with Bitcoin? I see a retrace somewhere, and this is a really wide range. I think we're going to come anywhere between 5,500 and 7,000. Somewhere in there, I am going to start accumulating spot Bitcoin in that range, and that's what my plan is there. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and end the video now. We went a little longer than I wanted, 27 minutes. But if this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening. And if you want access to our Discord, just throw in a comment in the YouTube chat, and I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening. Stay